What's up, my little Wooty Woo? So now I'm finna tell you how to cleanse and protect yourselves from other people's energies. So it's very important that you take individual responsibility. You should learn to get rid of mind traps, meaning things that hold you hostage in your mind, like envy, criticism, and even lust. So if you don't know how to manage these things, you'll find yourself a victim to psychic attacks. So the methods of protecting yourself fall into three categories. One, cleansing your aura. Two, your environment. And three, how to break contact in which the psychic attacks reach you. So let's start with saying some natural elements that'll help you cleanse yourself. One, water. Water has memory, and it's also a spiritual cleanser. That's why in ceremonies like baptism, they use water. Some people have a habit of speaking into the water, which can be used to empower you. Then you got another example like holy water. This is water that's been prayed over. And by using that water, some people tend to feel more change. So water tends to have spiritual and cleansing properties. So if you want to cleanse any psychic energies that you have, gotten from other people or that's just stored in your etheric body, water will be very effective. So now when you go out and you meet and greet with people, mingling and mixing, you always want to wash yourself with water. So sometimes when you go out into crowded environments, you'll tend to encounter people with psychic energies. Sometimes you might come back with a headache, but after you take a shower, the headache will tend to go away, and then you'll feel more refreshed. So it's like you cleanse the psychic energy that was attached to you. Running water is preferred over still water, so like a shower over a bath. Stream water is much more effective. Stream water has a lot of life-giving energies versus chemically treated tap water. But you don't have to discriminate, just take a shower. And when you're taking that shower, visualize that water cleansing you. Now, if you don't have access to water, use soil. This is another natural element that'll help cleanse us. That's why in some traditions they tend to apply mud. They smear mud all over themselves because it helps to protect them and cleanse them from bad spirits. So if you touch different things or fluids, you can just take your hands and put them in the soil. Another natural element is the sun. The sun can also cleanse energy from things, especially solid things that we tend to handle from each other. So if you have different things that are passed to you by hand, it's very important that you sit it out into the sun for it to be cleansed. So things that carry old energies or things that have been sitting in the dark for a really long time, they tend to attract negative energies. If they aren't cleansed, they may affect you spiritually. So before you use that stuff, just take it outside, sit it in the sun for a while. Now, an environmental factor, tidiness and cleanliness. Cleanliness is an important part of spiritual discipline. Always keep yourself and your space tidy. Don't clutter yourself with things all over. So a lot of things that could be all around can tend to attract negative energy and negative spirits. And it can tend to affect you physically. Cleanse your space and then give yourself a lot of free space. And often allow sunlight to come into your room, allow fresh air to come into your room, into your house. Make sure that you are only playing empowering songs in your environment. Avoid playing sad songs. It can tend to put you in a depressive trance. The most important thing in protecting yourself is your will. So you must strengthen your will. It's included by watching over your environment. Let's talk about our aura. So now I'm going to tell you how to build an aura that is resistive to psychic attacks. So one thing you should do, especially if you are sensitive, avoid directing a lot of attention toward yourself. So if you're going to a place where people's sight might be fixed on you, try to wear covering clothes. Don't expose your body because different parts of your body are psychic centers, or psychic energies can enter you and affect you. If you're like at the beach, don't worry about this. Don't worry about covering yourself up because most of the time the attention is not directed on you. For work or like parties, not to be the one who's standing out. Another thing, avoid sharing things about your life publicly. We do have a tendency of showing off. People's enviousness and jealousy can be directed at you. In that situation, you might find that things stop working for you. And that's because of the exposure you were getting. Some people's thoughts are very potent and can destroy progress in your life. But for some people, when they tend to think negatively about you, you end up tending to prosper more. But for some other people, they might even have positive thoughts about you, but then it could end up affecting you negatively. But sometimes when people think negative or positive about you, it could just not affect you, period. But you don't want to take a risk. Keep your life private. You can still show things, but after it happened, not during, because people's energy directed directly at that thing can spoil its success. Another thing about strengthening your aura is not being in receptive mode. That is emotionally, physically, spiritually, and psychologically. Lock yourself up. Have a filter for these senses. Don't just allow any sort of thing to get into your mind. So an example of what you can do. So if you have something that's negatively directed at you, just don't let it get into your mind. Because once that seed has entered into your mind, that itself is a psychic energy that will start generating thoughts. Avoid internalizing things. Something that can often help is having a phrase. Sometimes that phrase will disrupt those thoughts. So whenever you see something that's going to corrupt your mind, you can say, I am blessed, or praise be to Almighty. These will help to cut it off. You don't want that stuff forming a root in your mind. Your energy is precious. Spend it like currency. You wouldn't spend it on something you don't really want. So don't give attention to just anything. Direct it to where it's more beneficial for you. So avoid making long eye contact or shaking hands with people in a submissive, receptive way. Avoid negative media, negative talks, negative conversations. So what people don't know is when you create a rapport or a relationship or an interaction with a person, more than often you will create a psychic cord between you and that person. That will become a common point for psychic energy transfer. So as a result, they'll be able to influence you positively or negatively. And that is without knowing. Some people don't know they are affecting you negatively. Sometimes it's even your family member, someone who's very close to you. Not even be worried or just thinking about you. They don't know that they're putting you in a depressive state. So if you notice a way that your energy tends to change, you interact with certain people, you can visually cut off the cord that attaches you to them. That the negative emotions and worries do not reach you. Now, some relationships, they are not deep, they're not mutual, or even the ones that are mutual. For example, if you have a partner and y'all split up, you tend to let it go, but you tend to find yourself still in a negative loop. You can visualize yourself cutting off that cord between you and that person and putting up a block between you and that person. Other times it's just the normal friends. They use these cords to suck up energy from you unknowingly, maybe sometimes knowingly, because sometimes people know exactly what they're doing. Some people know that you're an empathetic person, good to sympathize, so they tell you a sad story. That's a way just to get you to put your guard down. Then they take what they want or use you in a way that they want. So don't get invested or absorbed in people's sad stories. Why? Because it's an avenue for psychic energy to enter you and also an avenue for them to suck up your energy. Whenever you encounter a negative experience, you can choose to focus on this experience. Don't be emotionally invested. Don't be in your feelings. So another way that you can physically resist is to have a strong physical body. Make sure that you are exercising because it prevents energy from flowing. Like negative energies that are stored up in us, they want to move as well. When these energies are stagnant, that's when they mostly affect us. But when we give it an outlet, they tend to get weaker. So just have a regular exercise in your life, build a routine, make sure you're always moving. And moving around often helps to strengthen some of the energy grids in your body to help handle stressing and psychic energies much more effectively. And always be in the tendency of taking deep and slow breaths. Take them from the navel area, as it can help to restore some of the emotional or physical balance, which makes you resistant to psychic energies and attacks. Now let's talk about your diet. Have a healthy diet. Try to avoid foods that have you spiritually slow, foods that don't add no value to you. So avoid things like alcohol, drugs, sugar, excessive amounts of sugar, chips, and stuff like that. And that's all I got for you. Bye.